would like to welcome you to this program. Today, 2-hour special. The first hour you'll be able to hear on your land-based station. Then, if you have access to the internet, you shift over to progressiveradionetwork.com or GaryNull.com. I'm broadcasting live from our studios in New York City. You can watch this program if you choose by going to either GaryNull.com or progressiveradionetwork.com. Today, no guest. Next week, lots of guests, including continuation of our conversations with remarkable minds, which many people have said they really appreciate this series. I'm going to deal with the vaccine issues today. I was just filmed by a major news network. They brought a camera crew up and wanted to know about the lawsuit that I brought against the FDA and what was the basis of it. So I had a half-hour filmed interview on this lawsuit. I am also testifying before a Senate committee on the vaccines, and I am giving them a really strong scientific rationale for why we believe that the vaccines are neither safe nor effective at this time. So today I'm going to give a short report called Vaccines Dark Inferno. This is new and heretofore not known information to the general public. This will give you additional insights based upon good quality scholarship and science to argue the issue. Now, last night, Glenn Beck did a 1-hour special on the swine flu vaccine, and he came to the topic more as a libertarian. Now, I didn't have a chance to see it. I was filming all day yesterday. We filmed in Boston yesterday. Some wonderful individuals up on Boston, Harvard campus, including the great Professor Fox, on death by medicine, Wall Street, vegetarianism, and several of the self-empowerment videos. My next trip will be to California, starting up in the Bay Area, and working my way down to LA. That'll be in about 3 weeks, and I'll announce where I'm going to be for anyone who's in the California area listening to the show who would like to come by and sit and watch how I do an interview and with some of these remarkable minds. In any case, I didn't have a chance to see Beck. I was simply given this information, that it was more about our freedom of choice and the government mandating a vaccine against people who don't want it. And when Bill O'Reilly last night was suggesting that, this is a good thing, the vaccine, it isn't. And I believe that Bill O'Reilly did the homework that we have done, objectively and fairly looked at the evidence. He would be outraged by what we have assumed is the safety and efficacy of vaccines. So I'm going to deal with that today. The latest on health and nutrition, for all of you who have Candida, I'll give you what is good about olive leaf extract. For men who've been diagnosed with prostate cancer, we have to be careful that you're not overdiagnosed and being treated unnecessarily, as many are. If you've been having any of those drinks that have the high fructose corn syrup, bad news, and I'll tell you why that's affecting your cholesterol. And if you have any on-the-job pesticide exposure, be careful, because that could be leading to Parkinson's disease. And eating nuts can overcome hunger pangs. I'll deal with that. And then some commentaries. I will be spending a lot of time today addressing issues important to this audience. Also, I want to begin with my own thoughts on what I was just told about 10 minutes ago. I was not aware that Barack Obama had been given a Nobel Prize for Peace. How is this possible? An NPR story in October of 2007, which tried to make sense of the Nobel Committee's rationale for giving controversial awards to individuals who have not displayed a legacy of sustaining peace activities, stated, quote, "Often the Nobel Committee has given the prize to an activist or politician embarking on a difficult mission, the outcome of which remains uncertain. In those cases, the prize is given as an incentive, not a reward," unquote. Well, clearly that would have to be the case here, but I question its rationale. With so many wonderful people who've given their life to fostering the notion of peace throughout the world, to give it to someone who, look at his record, look at what he has supported. He is supporting war in Afghanistan, in Pakistan. He is continuing the expansion of the militarization of the world by expanding the American bases. He has increased the military-industrial complex budget. He has eviscerated the constitutional provisions of habeas corpus. He can't say he's naive about this because he's a constitutional professor of law at University of Chicago for 12 years and Harvard Law Review. So it's not from being naive that he has made his choices. He is continuing rendition of prisoners around the world, over 30,000. We might expect a Nobel committee to make a decision for someone that they hope will be motivated by what we give them to do the right thing. I believe that was what the case was with Al Gore. Al Gore had no history of working in the environment. To the contrary, if you went back and looked at his work during the Clinton administration when he was vice president for 8 years, it was anti-environment. They caused at least 54 major provisions in our existing environmental laws to be weakened or eliminated or changed so that our environment could be exploited, from the coal mines, and especially since he's familiar with what coal mine strip mining does in Tennessee, West Virginia, Kentucky. It's devastating to the communities there. Only now is it getting any traction in the media. And yet he was for that strip mining. He was for the deforestation of the great old hardwood forest. He was for opening up more of the Native American reservation land for mining. His administration did not choose to acknowledge the uranium trailings mines that hundreds of thousands of Native Americans worked in to mine for the atomic energy projects and got radiation poisoning. And the American government knew that they were exposed, knew it was going to cause disease, and hid this from them. His administration did not come forward to help these people. So it doesn't surprise me when a man who has no solar panels, wind panels, no green incentives on his own home, flies on private jets, and sponsors cattle raising, which is one of the major polluting elements, does a simple film, in The Inconvenient Truth, a mediocre film on all levels, and yet that's what the basis of the Nobel Prize was. Let us hope then that it motivates him to do the right thing, out of embarrassment if he doesn't. But I would like to give a few more examples of why I believe Barack Obama does not deserve a Nobel Prize. For example, Mahatma Gandhi never received a Nobel Prize in peace. Can you name me anyone who did more for world peace than Mahatma Gandhi? Fritz Haber received the Nobel Prize for synthesizing ammonia, but was a leader in Germany's chemical warfare plan during World War II. So they give a man who helped to kill millions of people a Nobel Prize. Gordell Hall, a rampant racist, won the Nobel Prize for Peace in 1945. And yet, as FDR's Secretary of State, he refused the SS St. Louis ship carrying wealthy Jewish refugees escaping the Nazis from landing on our shore, against the president's own wish for the ship to land. So those Jews were forced to return to Europe, and most were then put into concentration camps and killed. That man, who caused the death of innocent Jews, was rewarded the Nobel Peace Prize, and he was known for being a racist. And of course, an abomination was Henry Kissinger. Even while he was spearheading Operation Condor in Cambodia and participating in the Chilean junta of Pinochet, which were leading to death squads and disappearings, he received the Nobel Prize. Philip Lenard was given the Physics Award, but later was an advisor to Adolf Hitler and became known as the chief of Aryan physics, saying Einstein's theories of relativity was a Jewish fraud. The Portuguese neurologist Antonio Egas Moniz received the Nobel Prize for prefrontal lobotomy, actually better known as the ice pick lobotomy, one of the worst tragedies of American medical science. David Baltimore received the Nobel Prize for Medicine in 1975, who later was implicated in the landmark science fraud and science scandal known as the Baltimore Affair. Harold Zur Hansen